remember when they launched the original iPhone back in the day? It was quite a big deal, wasn't it? I mean, it was just effectively just another phone, really, wasn't it? But the I in its name helped make it one of the must-have gadgets of 2007. The I in its name made it cool. This is the BMW iX3, and it is similarly, effectively, just another family SUV. But will the I in its name help make it one of the must-have family SUVs of 2021? Will the I in its name make it cool? We might as well hang around, and I'll tell you how this compares to some of its rivals and whether you should or shouldn't buy one. But before that, make sure you subscribe to the Carbuyer YouTube channel, click like if you like this video, and click on that good old bell icon.
As you may have guessed, BMW isn't just sticking an I in the name for fun. This is the electric version of the standard X3. It's going to be something we see a lot in the future. The i4 is just around the corner, and before long there'll be I versions of nearly every model in the BMW lineup, including some cars that don't exist yet.
In this instance, BMW have decided to go in a different direction to Jaguar, who created a bespoke platform for the I-Pace. But instead, BMW have basically just whipped out the conventional engine, chucked in an electric powertrain, put a little visor at the front and put an I in the name. Done. Lovely. Okay, it's not as simple as that. Thousands of hours of engineering and know-how has gone into this car. And it's got everything that we love about the X3, but without the tailpipe emissions. Not bad, eh?
Time to quickly address something the eagle-eyed may have noticed about the look of our car. While the iX3 is new, the normal X3 has been on sale for a while now. Long enough, in fact, that the time has come for a wee midlife update. And, not wanting to be left out, the same visual changes have since been applied to the electric version. The car you see here is one of only a handful of pre-facelift Premier Edition models. If you order a car now, it'll look a bit more like this. Available in either M Sport or M Sport Pro trim. Prices are high. You're not going to get much change back from £60,000, but every version comes with at least 19-inch alloy wheels, adaptive suspension and a panoramic sunroof, while Pro models get a Harman Kardon stereo and extra safety features. Full specs are available at carbuyer.co.uk.
We have criticised some BMW interiors for being too conservative and a bit too reserved. I mean, there isn't like a big dramatic screen or some design details that really catch your attention. But the fact is, there aren't very many cabins that you can sit in and just feel nice and comfy and familiar. As soon as you sit in here, you know where everything is. I know there's a touchscreen there. I know that there is the iDrive controller down here on the centre console. We've got the nice little twiddly-do climate controls. I know that there's dials there that's going to tell me everything that I need to know. Okay. It's a little bit boring, but perfectly functional, very well built. It is very, very high quality. Mwah, chef's kiss. Ergonomically works very well as well. I mean, if you're going to change little more than the engine and the name, then you get everything that you love about the X3 in here. Visibility is great. Driving position is pretty spot on for me. We've got some cup holders, cubbies. It's a very easy car to live with on a day-to-day basis.
Of course, you're not going to be filling up your iX3 at a petrol station like you would with an X3, so you'll want to know how long it takes to charge, how much it will cost, and after all that, how far you'll be able to go before it needs charging again. Well, if you're able to charge at home, like many electric car drivers can, a full charge will take just under 12 hours from a 7-kilowatt wall box. If you use a public rapid charger, the iX3 will match a Volvo XC40 Recharge, topping up the 80 kilowatt-hour battery from 10 to 80% at a 150 kilowatt charger takes around half an hour. A full charge will cost around £13 or £30 respectively, resulting in an official range of 286 miles. However, during our time with the iX3 on mixed urban, rural and motorway journeys, we saw around 250 to 260 miles on a charge.
Now, I could spend hours talking about the pros and cons of basing an electric car on a bespoke platform rather than putting an electric car on an existing petrol or diesel platform. But the thing with the latter, the biggest issue, is more often than not the weight. Now, BMW is trying to avoid that issue by just having one single motor in the iX3. Now, most of its rivals, like the Mercedes EQC, the Jaguar I-Pace, and the earlier versions of the Volvo XC40 Recharge, they all have four-wheel drive because they have two motors. It also means that they're very heavy, but also means they're very powerful and very, very quick. In my opinion, they're much quicker than they have to be, really, because in this single motor iX3, you've still got 282 brake horsepower, which means it's got a 0 to 62 time of 6.8 seconds. But most importantly, that single motor is attached to the rear wheels rather than the front, so it makes it a lot more fun to drive. Now, the standard X3 has always been up there with one of the best handling cars in its class, and changing it over to electric, it's still very good. I mean, it's really agile for such a big car, and with the relatively low centre of gravity, it means there's hardly any body roll on corners, so you feel very confident when you're sort of chucking it about a bit. The sharp steering really helps with that as well. It makes it a lot more fun. I mean, the ride quality could be a little bit better, but it's actually a very comfortable family SUV. That also helps with the fact that we've got a very serene cabin in here, thanks to the electric side of things. So as you expect, it's very nice and quiet. Now, another thing that I think is absolutely worth mentioning is the regenerative braking. Now, if you have experienced the i3, you'll know that you can just drive that just using the accelerator because the regen braking is so strong. You might get in this and then go, well, this is missing a trick because I've taken my foot off the accelerator and it's just coasting, and now I have to use the brakes like a regular car. But actually, see this little gear shifter? If you do a little flip to the left like that, it activates the adaptive regen system. Oh yeah. And do you know what? I have been using this all day and it blows my mind because I take my foot off the accelerator and I just come to an instant stop perfectly behind the car in front of me. I don't understand how it works, but I feel like I'm some sort of god. It's like magic. Really, really impressive. Well done, BMW.
Practicality can suffer when manufacturers convert a normal car to electricity. The boot gets smaller, or people in the back seats have less legroom, or both. Happily, while you don't get quite the same size boot that you do in the diesel X3, it's bigger than the one you'll find in the X3 plug-in hybrid.
And wow, would you look at this? 510 litres of space. I mean, you're hardly going to miss the 40 litres that's missing from the standard X3, are you? I mean, it opens up electrically. You've got loads of room for our giant Carbuyer suitcase. Underneath the boot floor, bit of extra space for your charging cables. I mean, I know in the standard X3, under the bonnet would be a petrol or a diesel engine, which seems a little bit of a shame that they haven't used this opportunity to put some storage in the front there, but hey, never mind. The rear seats fold down so easily to reveal 1,560 litres of space. Although, putting them back up isn't exactly easy, but once they're up, you've got as much space as the conventional X3. I mean, I'm 5'6", I've got plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom. My fellow Carbuyer presenter Rich was in here earlier. He's just a smidge over 6 foot and he said he was very comfortable. It's not too bad, is it? Oh, do you know what? I'm feeling Dealmakers and Dealbreakers time. Shall we? Yeah, all right then.
You often have to compromise on handling when it comes to electric cars, and while the BMW iX3 isn't as powerful as many rivals, it's more fun because it weighs less. Speaking of compromise, there's little to be sacrificed when it comes to space either. There's a decent sized boot, and passengers are pretty well catered for as well. BMW learnt a lot with its pioneering i3. The regenerative brakes on this iX3 are among the best in the business. The iX3's cabin layout is functional but somewhat unexciting. Some rivals may feel more high-tech and look a bit more eye-catching. There's no avoiding the fact that some rivals are more powerful and, as a result, a little bit quicker. Whether that matters to you depends on how you'll use the car.
Now, I know we tend to bang on about the benefits of designing an electric car from the ground up, but the thing is, if a manufacturer opts to not do that, then you're going to have to sacrifice some quite important things like weight, space, practicality, efficiency, handling, things like that. But actually, the BMW iX3 is as good as a petrol car converted to an electric car can be. Is it as groundbreaking as the original iPhone? No, it's not really. But it's still very impressive nonetheless. It handles really well. It is quick. It's got nearly as much space inside as the standard X3, and it's actually more efficient than some of its rivals. I mean, yeah, it's more expensive than the petrol or the diesel option, but if you do the sums, you might find that you'll break even a lot sooner than you think.
If you like this video, then why not check out our review of the Volvo XC40 Recharge or our electric cars playlist. Thanks for watching.